This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
Alright, and welcome to the GSMC Sports Podcast. This episode is brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. And as always, I am your host, Jesse Tapia. Alright, it's Friday, everyone's favorite day of the week. Why? Because it's the first day before the weekend. And sometimes, I don't know, now I'm in college, I kind of consider Fridays the weekend. Kind of Thursdays are like my new Fridays, if that makes any sense whatsoever. But either way, it's Friday. It's March 23rd. And yesterday, we had even more upsets in the NCAA tournament, all right? We had Florida State knocking off Gonzaga. We had Loyola-Chicago knocking off Nevada. We had 3 upsets yesterday. I did not realize that. I knew there was upsets, but I didn't realize that 3 of the games were upsets. And then we had Kansas State knocking off Kentucky. So as you know, tournament's pretty important, as you can see, all right? We've been talking about it as it's been going on. So we're going to spend the first segment talking about the NCAA games from yesterday. Okay, let's see what else we got going on today. We're going to be talking NBA games from, what was yesterday? Thursday? Yeah, from Thursday. We'll be doing that. We're going to talk about the Sixers. I believe they are currently the 4 seed in the East. I should double check that right now, because it's always better to be right than wrong. So let's see. I'm almost positive of the 4 seed. Yeah, so the 4 seed in the East right now, only a game back of the Cavs for that 3 seed. We're going to talk about Philly. Is that a team that we need to start paying more attention to? All right, we've been talking about them like as if, like, yeah, they're going to be good in a few years, but are they good now? Okay, so we'll be doing that. We're going to do that separate. We're going to talk about their game and do that separate than how we recap the Thursday games, kind of like how we've done the last two shows. So we'll be doing that, and then the fourth segment we'll pretty much be talking about whatever else is going on in the world of sports. Allen Hurns signed with the Cowboys. I really like that move. New change of scenery for him, and gives Dak another receiver to throw to there. Kind of replaces Bryce Butler also. And Terrence Williams, I mean, I'm not even sure if he's still with the Cowboys, but he hasn't really done, like, I don't know, Terrence Williams is the ultimate, the ultimate number 2, I guess you could say. Really, like, you're not really throwing it to him too much, but when you need to get the ball to him, you can get the ball to him. I don't know, Terrence Williams has been a weird receiver. It's like, I don't know, maybe he's just a good football player and you just don't really notice him because of fantasy football. But either way, we'll be talking about Allen Hurns going to the Cowboys. I think we got some other NFL news going on today, so we'll be talking about that and pretty much anything else going on in the world of sports. All right, so let's talk men's basketball tournament. Let's talk Loyola-Chicago knocking off Nevada. Let's talk about the fact that was my lock of the week. All right, I got it right. I've had 2 locks so far doing the show. It's been Loyola-Chicago over Nevada, and one time I said on the GSMC football podcast that Kirk Cousins would be signed with the Vikings, and that happened. So I'd like to think I'm doing pretty well. But either way, yeah, Loyola-Chicago, they were playing well against Nevada. Nevada was leading for most of the first half. Not most of the first half. They're actually down by 4 at the end of the first half. And then second half comes, Nevada goes on a little bit of a run. It's like Loyola-Chicago, it's like they're trying to catch up, trying to like pretty much like, not literally, but like, just trying to catch their breath, trying to pretty much keep up with them. And Nevada's playing well, and then Loyola-Chicago just eventually steps up, hits a couple of big shots, and sure enough, they end up knocking off Nevada. And one thing I kind of like about the way Loyola-Chicago plays is that it's not too flashy. All right, that is the fundamentals team right there. Give us bounce passes. Give us layups, all right? Only threes if you're wide open. That's exactly how they play. They pretty much play, I guess, the quote-unquote right way to play basketball, all right? The bounce passes, like I said, the layups, the passing all around. They do it all. All right, and I think that's one thing that helped them stay in the game. They were pretty much sticking to their game plan. That's one big thing for these teams in the NCAA tournament. All right, because when you're down, and these teams you see starting to chuck up threes, kind of like Virginia's the perfect example, okay? Virginia losing to UMBC. Still can't believe UMBC knocked off Virginia. Again, that's history. But either way, yeah, when UMBC knocked off Virginia in that game, you saw Virginia they were unfocused. They were worried. You could tell they were struggling. They were like, what do we do? We got to panic. All right, let's start taking more threes. We got to play quicker. All right, we got to chop off the lead soon. We can't just do it, like they weren't like when you're losing by a lot, normally the plan is to cut out the lead, like just chip away at it. Chip away, chip away, chip away. Virginia seemed like they were trying to cut down the lead all in one shot, and it just wasn't working for them. That's one of the biggest reasons why they lost. Virginia very well could have came back, but because of the fact that they were panicking, they had no chance. And Loyola-Chicago obviously wasn't down as much as Virginia was to UMBC, but nonetheless, I mean, Loyola-Chicago, they were down. And Nevada's a team that's been playing well this tournament, and sure enough, I mean, Loyola-Chicago was just chipping away. They weren't taking a bunch of threes, all right? They weren't trying to pretty much do too much. They were sticking with the game plan, and that's how they ended up winning. So, big win by them. And you know what? Loyola-Chicago could very well find themselves into the Final Four. They're in the Elite Eight. I think they're going to be playing Kansas State, I believe. Yeah, I think they're going to be playing Kansas State. That's going to be a fun little game there, all right? Because, like, speaking of Kansas State, I was watching the game against Kentucky. That was probably the game of the night right there, all right? Loyola-Chicago, that was a pretty fun game, but no, Kentucky versus Kansas State was probably the best game of the night. I mean, Kansas State, Kentucky. Kansas State, I feel like, was leading for most of it. And then Kentucky, same thing with Loyola-Chicago, right? Kentucky was chipping away. Eventually, they take the lead, and it's just back and forth, back and forth. And one thing that really stunk about this game is the referees, like, just didn't themselves... I don't know. They for some reason they want us to know that they're there. Like, oh yeah, we're here too. Make sure you pay attention to us. So many fouls called on this game. All right. There was one where I can't remember who was taking a free throw. Either way, he misses. The players go up for a rebound. And there's like nothing there. But either way, the refs call a foul, and Kansas State gets some free throws. All right. I understand if maybe the player goes down or he gets dragged down or whatever. Yeah, that's a foul. But I mean, if they're both fighting for a rebound, you can't call a foul out of that. All right. These referees. I don't know if it's just basketball referees or it's just maybe, I don't know, basketball referees like NCAA and NBA, they are just brutal, all right? They are just terrible. And again, I'm not trying to like hate on the referees or anything like that, but come on. We get that, like, just call fouls when there's fouls. Don't go constantly. You're ruining the pace of the game and pretty much, you're putting it in, you're deciding the game rather than letting the teams fight out for it. All right, so that's my only problem with the Kansas State-Kentucky game. But either way, Kansas State, I feel, was the more deserving team to win this game. I think they were the better team. Kentucky did well to get back into it, but it's just a matter of I think Kansas State was just a better team and played harder. But either way, with Kentucky, I mean, they would have beat Kansas State. They probably would have found themselves into the Final Four. I'm sure they could have beat Loyola-Chicago pretty easily. And Coach Cal, I mean, anything could happen in that national title game. I mean, you'd have to play Michigan actually in the Final Four, and I did have Michigan winning. And by the way, I did have Michigan, West Virginia, and Duke in my Final Four. I picked Arizona, so I guess that kind of nullifies it all. But either way, done pretty well so far in this tournament of upsets. Like I said, I mean, if Kentucky would have made it to the Final Four and make it to the national title game, I mean, Coach Calipari would have been a legend. All right, with the team he had this year, and pretty much they were struggling a lot for this year. I mean, there was one point I was like, hey, maybe Coach Cal's job is on the line, possibly. I mean, there was even talks maybe Kentucky doesn't make the tournament. And again, it wasn't like a real big story, but it was like kind of whispers, like, hey, Kentucky not playing too well right now, kind of playing poorly in the SEC. But eventually they picked it up, and sure enough, they made it all the way to the Sweet 16. And Kentucky, I feel like as a team, either they make it to the Sweet 16 and lose, or they just make it to the Final Four and have every chance to win it. I feel like that's the kind of team Kentucky is. There's a bunch of teams like that too. It's kind of like Kansas. If Kansas ends up beating Clemson, then I know they'd have to play Duke, I believe it is. But I wouldn't be surprised if Kansas somehow finds their way to the Final Four. It's either Kansas loses in the Sweet 16 or they find themselves in the Final Four, like I said, with Kentucky. I mean, with Kansas playing Clemson, too, I think Clemson is going to win. Clemson right now is playing the better basketball out of the two. Kansas kind of struggled a bit against Penn, pulled away there by won 16. I think it was 76-60. And then you had them barely beat Seton Hall. I think it was 83-79. Clemson's just been blowing everyone out. I mean, Auburn was the higher seeded team. I mean, Clemson's only a 5 and Auburn's a 4, but I mean, Clemson just ran them out the building. All right, you needed Charles Barkley to come in for Auburn in order to help them. I mean, poor Charles Barkley too. Imagine watching that, excited. Your team is playing well in the tournament. All right, first time in a while they've made the tournament, I think, unless somehow they've been in there. Again, and just the whole Auburn being a decent basketball team kind of just weirds me out. But either way, I mean, yeah, you're watching your team, oh, this is exciting. Oh, we got a big game against Clemson. It's going to be a good one. No, it's not. Your team's going to get blown out. So, yeah, that happened there. But either way, like I said, Clemson playing really good basketball right now. All right, and believe it or not, there were other games, and these other games were a bit of blowouts. All right, Florida State faced off with Gonzaga. Gonzaga is just that team. It's just, I don't know. They're kind of like Wichita State, I guess. I mean, Wichita State has at least made it to a Final Four, I believe. I mean, recently, too. Wasn't it that Ron Baker team? I think they have Fred VanVleet, too. was a pretty solid team there. But either way, I mean, Florida State just wiped the floor with Gonzaga. Gonzaga had no answer for Florida State. Florida State won this one 75-60. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I wasn't watching this game from the beginning to end. I mean, I was watching the other games that were going on. I think Kentucky and Kansas State was the one that was going on and across from this one. I was watching that one more, so I was paying attention. I was flipping over to this one every so now and then. It's just Gonzaga couldn't deal with Florida State's athleticism and just couldn't handle it. All right, Gonzaga's that team where they've never made a Final Four, and it's like with all the upsets going on, Gonzaga playing really well so far in the tournament. If they were to get past Florida State, you very well could have saw them into the Final Four, but it wasn't meant to be. And Gonzaga's just that team. There's like something about them. It's like, I don't know, like Gonzaga's just, they have a solid team every year, all right? From the teams with Adam Borson, still can't believe that guy was a top pick in the NBA draft, all right, to the Kelly Olynyk teams, and then now with the teams they got now, with the teams they got going on now, I mean, it's just, I don't know, there's just something about them where they can't get over the hump, and maybe it's just a matter of they're just a mid-major team, and that's all they'll ever be. All right, Wichita State, I guess you consider, is a top program. Gonzaga is more so just a team where they play in a pretty easy conference. Let's not lie to ourselves. All right, St. Mary's is in that conference, but those are pretty much that's like the what do they play in? The WAC, I think it is, something like that. Either way, I mean, Gonzaga and St. Mary's are always in the final for that tournament, and it's just a matter of, I mean, come on now. Should we really expect a team like Gonzaga to make it to the Final Four? Probably not. But Florida State been playing real good basketball. Florida State's a team where the teams that are really being successful so far in this tournament are the teams that have the fourth year, like the seniors and all that, the juniors on the team, the guys that have been together for a while. All right, those are the teams that are succeeding and playing well. So I mean, that's kind of like what's been the pretty much how do I say? What's been the theme of this tournament is if you got a team that's been together for a few years, then you're going to be successful. And that's what kind of scares me about Duke in this one. But like Duke is kind of different just because they got Coach K. And I'm real interested to see how they do against this 2-3 zone. Like I said, the 2-3 zone is like a VCR, all right? I mean, we all know what it is. Not really too sure how it works or whatever. I mean, me personally, I was around. I was a child long enough to know, oh yeah, I know how the videos and stuff work with the VCR. But like my little brother and stuff like that, they know what a VCR is. Don't never use one in their life. Never. I'm not even sure they've ever seen one. All right, not even sure how they know how it works. All right, but either way, it's kind of like with the 2-3 zone with the teams that have seen it so far. Like, oh wait, we know what the 2-3 zone is. Wait, how does it work? How do we be successful against it? But either way, I think Duke, I don't know, I'm kind of torn on that game. I feel like that's the toughest game to pick. I'm more sure about Clemson beating Kansas than I am about Duke beating Syracuse. But either way, those are the games going on tonight. Let's talk about the other game that went on last night, which was Michigan versus Texas A&M. Boy, oh boy, Texas A&M stood no chance. All right, this game was over by the time it started. I was watching the first half, and Michigan was pretty much hitting every three they wanted, getting every turnover they wanted, getting into the paint, getting every shot in the paint they wanted. I mean, it was just from beginning to end, it was a blowout, all right? Michigan right now is playing like they are the best team in the tournament, and I am extremely happy I had them making it to the Final Four. That's my pick to win it all right now. I have them beating Duke in the national title game, believe it or not, all right? I think you could hear, I think it was yesterday's podcast or the episode before where I made my picks for the Sweet 16 going forward. But yeah, I got Michigan winning it all. I mean, just a complete blowout. Ended the first half up 52-28. Texas A&M played well for the second half. I mean, technically, if you want to count only the second half, they only lost by 3. All right, Michigan scored 47 in the second half. Texas A&M scored 44. That's just kind of ridiculous to see there. I mean, Michigan scored 99 points. That's kind of rare to see a team score 80 plus in a college basketball game. But nonetheless, I mean, Michigan was playing great. All right, Michigan's looking good, shooting the ball well. Look like they're a well-coached team. Stick to the game plan. I mean, they're quick. I kind of feel like Michigan flew in under the radar with this tournament. I think they won the Big Ten. They were by far the best Big Ten team in the tourney, and no one was really paying attention to them too much. And I don't know if it's just a matter of, because I didn't really watch Michigan too much during the regular season, but maybe it's just a matter of they didn't look great during the regular season. But I kind of feel like with how Michigan played in the Big Ten tournament, like how do you not have them going far? It just didn't make sense to me. Like, I think with this game, they would have been playing North Carolina. If North Carolina would have beat Texas A&M, I still think Michigan would have beat North Carolina. But, I mean, we'll never know. So, either way, that's how the games went on yesterday. Like I said, Michigan beat Texas A&M. Florida State beat Gonzaga. Loyola-Chicago, my lock pick of the week, they beat Nevada. And then you had Kansas State beating Kentucky. All right? For the games going on tonight, I think we got Kansas versus Clemson. I'm picking Clemson to win that one. They've been playing the better basketball. West Virginia versus Villanova. I got West Virginia in my Final Four, my original bracket, so I got West Virginia beating Villanova. I love me some press defense. All right, full court press is the best. Bob Huggins, one of my favorite coaches in the nation. I might just be a West Virginia fan, honestly. All right, West Virginia is always a team I kind of root for. And like I said, like I've been saying this week, I don't have a college basketball team, so I need to find one soon. But like West Virginia might be that. All right, maybe I'm just a Michigan fan. I think it's Michigan or West Virginia. So maybe we'll see whoever plays the best in the tournament, or maybe I'll just make my pick. I kind of lean Michigan right now, but like I said, I like West Virginia. And then Syracuse and Duke. I want to pick Syracuse, but I can't go against Duke. Duke is favored by 11 points. And if you were a betting man and you pretty much took Syracuse and the points, I mean, that's a nice little bet there. I think Syracuse is going to surprise some people. Maybe they won't win, but they're going to keep it close. And we got Texas Tech versus Purdue. This game's going to fly under the radar. No one's really going to be talking about it. But I got Texas Tech beating Purdue. Texas Tech's been playing really well so far in the tournament. So it's a little recap of yesterday's NCAA tournament. A little prediction for tonight's games going on. Like I said, Michigan playing well. Florida State playing well. Loyola-Chicago playing well. So is Kansas State. Those are some dangerous teams right there. All right. Let's see. We got a 9-3. What was it? Was it 2 9s? What was Florida State was a 9, Michigan's a 3, Loyola-Chicago's 11, and then we got Kansas State as a 9. All right, so we got 2 9 seeds, an 11 seed, and a 3 seed, which makes sense in the Elite 8. All right, and after today, we could have a 5 seed, another 5 seed, an 11 seed possibly, and a 3 seed. It could be all upsets, honestly, going on tonight, but we'll see. But anyway, that's going to wrap it up for this segment. Next up, we're going to be talking... Let's talk about the Sixers in the next segment. So yeah, actually no, we're going to recap all the other games from yesterday. I think I'm going to pick the Sixers game and maybe do another one for that third segment. And then for the fourth segment, we'll be talking about whatever else is going on in the world of sports. So stay tuned and we'll be right back.
Are you looking for the very best NFL and college football podcast? Then check out the GSMC Football Podcast. Get the latest football news both on and off the field. From the NFL Draft to trades to the rumor mill to the NFL Combines, they got you covered. That's GSMCpodcast.com/football-podcast. Get updates on college rivalries, game day insights, and much, much more. It's football talk the way you want it. This show eats, sleeps, and breathes football. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
Alright, and welcome back to the GSMC Sports Podcast. We spent that first segment just basically talking about the NCAA tournament. Talked about the games that were played yesterday. We had a couple of good ones and a couple of blowouts. Like the perfect little balance, alright? You want to see a blowout, you watch Gonzaga play Florida State. You want to see another blowout, you see Michigan play Texas A&M. You want to see some close games, we'll watch Loyola-Chicago versus Nevada, and you can watch Kansas State versus Kentucky. But some really good games, and like I said, a nice little balance there. But either way, like I said, for the games going on tonight, I got Clemson beating Kansas. I got Duke beating Syracuse, and I'm kind of iffy on that one. Like I said, I'm more so, I have more faith in Clemson beating Kansas than I do in Duke beating Syracuse, and that's kind of weird to say. But either way, it's true. And then let's see what other games we got going on tonight. What other games do we have? I think we said, we got West Virginia versus Villanova. I picked West Virginia, and then Texas Tech versus Purdue. I got Texas Tech. Should be a couple of good ones. If I had to pick which ones the close ones are going to be, it's going to be Clemson and Kansas. And I think they're all actually going to be close tonight, believe it or not. Yeah, every game I think is going to be pretty close. Texas Tech might be the only blowout, honestly. Anyway, we'll see. But for this segment, we're going to head over to the pros. Going to be talking NBA, so let's get into it. First up, we had the Memphis Grizzlies facing off with the Charlotte Hornets, and I mean, this was brutal. The Memphis Grizzlies really lost by 61. They lost by 61 points. A professional basketball team lost to another professional basketball team by 61. We had Charlotte winning this one 140-79. I mean, come on now, Memphis. Marvin Williams, he had 15 points, 6 rebounds, shot 5 of 8, 2 of 5 from the three-point line. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist had 4 points, 7 rebounds, shot 2 of 5. Willie Hernan-Gomez had 10 points, 12 rebounds. He shot 5 of 11, 0 of 1 from the three-point line. Kemba Walker had 46 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds, shot 13 of 18, 10 of 14 from the three-point line. Guy had 35 points by the end of the first half. All right. I mean, I don't know. He plays 20 more minutes. Maybe he could possibly get to 81. Maybe I'm just trying to throw stuff out there. Maybe if you're a Lakers fan, you're a little bit frustrated because I said maybe he could have caught 81. And that's one thing, too, is another player ever going to score, like, not like, let alone, forget what Wilt Chamberlain did. I don't think anyone's ever scoring 100 points again in a game. But is anyone ever going to get to 81? I feel like Wilt Chamberlain is like, that's an outlier, okay? Wilt Chamberlain's game is an outlier. We'll just put it in the Hall of Fame like it already is, I'm sure. And we'll just say no one's ever reaching it. So let's pretend that Kobe's is the highest scoring game of all time. All right, is anyone ever going to reach 81? I don't think coaches would let a player reach 81 because I feel like these players would get pulled before the fourth quarter starts. Kind of like, did Kobe play the app? Kobe played the entire fourth. No, Kobe didn't even play the entire fourth quarter, I don't think. I have to double check on the minutes Kobe played in that game, but if Kobe didn't play the entire fourth quarter of that game, and like let's say he does, Kobe could have reached 81, or could have reached 100. But yeah, I'm just kind of curious. Like I said, I mean, forget Wilt Chamberlain's game being the highest of all time. No one's ever going to reach that. All right, like I said, it's in the Hall of Fame, so we'll never forget it. But let's pretend from now on, going forward, that Kobe's is the highest scoring game of all time. Because I feel like that's more of a realistic win to reach and kind of a funner win to talk about. Because like I said, no one's reaching 100. But either way, like I said, the guy scored 46 points, shot 13 of 18, had 10 threes hit in this one. Kind of like a Steph Curry game here. Jeremy Lamb had 12 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, shot 4 of 7, 2 of 4 from the three-point line. Off the bench, Malik Monk got 10 minutes in this one, 1 of 4 from the field, 4 points. Let's see, Frank Kaminsky, he had 14 points, 3 assists, 2 rebounds, shot 5 of 6, 4 of 4 from the three-point line. For Memphis, you had JaMychal Green with 5 points, 7 rebounds, shot 2 of 7, 1 of 2 from the three-point line. Dylan Brooks had 5 points, only shot 2 of 5 in this one. We played 16 minutes. Yeah, this was a blowout, so this is pretty much like a breather for these guys who played on Memphis. And that's pretty much how they've been playing all year. But Tyreek Evans played 19 minutes in this one. 16 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, shot 7 of 11, 1 of 2 from the three-point line. I bet you that guy really hopes he was playing for the Celtics right now. All right, let's see. Bryce Johnson, only 2 points in this one. Ben McLemore played 21 minutes, 2 of 9 from the field, 0 of 2 from the three-point line, 7 points, 4 rebounds. That guy was supposed to be the Kings' savior, believe it or not. Supposed to save that franchise. Wayne Selden, he had 18 points, shot 7 of 12, 1 of 3 from the three-point line, and no Andrew Harrison in this one. Did not play because of a coach's decision. All right, like I said, the Hornets won that game 140-79. As for the next game, we had the Houston Rockets facing off with the Detroit Pistons. Houston had some trouble in this one, all right? Give it to Detroit. They ended up getting this one to overtime. I mean, that's kind of crazy. This is a real defensive game where just everyone could not shoot in this one. Because, I mean, for you to go to overtime and barely break 100 points is, I don't know. They didn't even break, yeah, I guess you could say they broke 100 points. I'm talking about like getting past 100. But either way, Rockets won this one 100-96. For Detroit, you had Blake Griffin with 21 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. We call that a triple-double. 9 of 22 from the field, 1 of 7 from the three-point line. Stanley Johnson, 5 points, 3 rebounds, shot 2 of 4 from the field. Only played 14 minutes in this one. Andre Drummond had 17 points, 20 rebounds, shot 6 of 13. Reggie Jackson, his second game back, 20 minutes play, 2 of 13 from the field, 0 of 6 from the three-point line, 4 points, 3 rebounds, no assists. What a stat line. Reggie Bullock had 12 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, shot 5 of 10 from the field, 2 of 7 from the three-point line. Then off the bench, you had Ish Smith with 18 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, shot 8 of 14 from the field, 2 of 6 from the three-point line. And then Luke Kennard with 14 points, 4 rebounds, shot 6 of 11, 0 of 5 from the three-point line. For the Rockets, you had Trevor Ariza with 9 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, shot 3 of 11 from the field, 3 of 8 from the three-point line. PJ Tucker had 10 points, 8 rebounds, shot 4 of 11, hit 2 threes in this one. Clint Capella, 10 points, 14 rebounds. James Harden only shot 4 of 20 from the field in this one, did not hit a 3, missed 8 of them, had 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 21 points. All right, James Harden had a game like that, and they still won. Is that just because the Rockets are that much better or that great of a team in the league right now, or is Detroit just that bad right now? All right, Eric Gordon had 22 points, 5 assists, 3 rebounds, shot 8 of 19, 3 of 9 from the three-point line. No Chris Paul in that one, so Eric Gordon did well to step up in his spot. Well, I guess James Harden technically stepped up in his spot since he played the point guard position, but Eric Gordon did well to fill in a role. All right, Luka Mbamute, I think he left the game with some injury. I think he's just hurt. It's a matter of soreness and stuff like that, so they're going to be monitoring that. But either way, he had 7 points, 3 of 4 shooting in 7 minutes. Ryan Anderson had 7 points, 7 rebounds, shot 3 of 6 from the field. And you had Joe Johnson stepped up in this one, 11 points, 3 rebounds, shot 4 of 11, 2 of 7 from the three-point line. Jalen Green struggled off the bench in this one, only shot 1 of 9, 1 of 8 from the three-point line. Only had 3 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists. Like I said, I mean, this is a pretty good win for Houston here. I understand they're playing Detroit. Detroit's not that great of it. Not even, they're just a bad team. All right, just to put it simply. But Houston, for them to have no Chris Paul, James Harden struggles, I mean, that's big on the other guys that pretty much played well. The PJ Tuckers of this team, the Eric Gordons, all right, off the bench, the Joe Johnsons who stepped up. All right, nice little win for them. And, I mean, they played some pretty decent defense here, only giving up 96 to the Pistons. And I'm not saying, like, giving up 96 to the Pistons is like a truly great thing. But, I mean, they did play it overtime, so to keep them over 100 is pretty nice. All right, let's see. But for the Pistons, I mean, Blake Griffin, triple-double. He's been pretty good for the Pistons. Like, very well. He played actually very well for the Pistons so far. I don't want to go out and say that he's been better with the Pistons than he was with the Clippers, but he's been playing extremely well. And this Pistons team, I mean, I'm not even sure, like, I don't know. This Pistons team is very weird, okay? Because you think, you could build around Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond, but I just don't think the front office knows how to do that. All right, I'm sure they think that Reggie Jackson is a piece that you could put there, but I don't think so. Reggie Jackson was good with the Thunder, has been inconsistent with the Pistons. I mean, Stanley Johnson, that guy can't shoot the ball. We just got to accept it. He's got to work on his jumper, but that's going to take a few years, all right? Marcus Smart's been in the league for about 4 years. That dude's jumper has not gotten better it's gotten better, but it's just still not as good, all right? And then, guys like Reggie Bullock, I mean, you can't, Reggie Bullock, he's actually played pretty well so far this season. Maybe Reggie Bullock could be like an Etuan Moore type, like how he is with the Pelicans. Reggie Bullock could be that kind of guy, very consistent, pretty much shows up, gives you his 14 a game, and goes home. I mean, maybe that's where you keep Reggie Bullock at the 3, but I had Reggie Jackson and Stanley Johnson. You got to find other players to fill those spots. Like Stanley Johnson could come off the bench, but I just don't think he's starting material right now until he develops that jumper. But either way, like I said, the Houston Rockets won this one 100-96. As for the next game, we had the New Orleans Pelicans facing off with the LA Lakers in New Orleans, and New Orleans won this one 128-125. For the Lakers, you had Julius Randle with 23 points, 10 rebounds, shot 9 of 16 from the field. Kyle Kuzma had 22 points, 5 rebounds, shot 5-11, 4-6 from the three-point line. Brook Lopez, 23 points, only 6 rebounds, shot 9 of 12, hit 1-3 in this one. Lonzo Ball has been struggling to shoot the ball, let me tell you. All right, 2 of 15 from the field in this one, 1 of 12 from the three-point line, 13 rebounds, 9 assists, 6 points. I don't know why he went back to shooting threes again. All right, I understand if you want to take about 4 threes a game or whatever, if you're Lonzo, that's cool, but do not make the majority of your shots threes. You're not a three-point shooter right now. Your jump shot isn't that good. All right, get to the hole. Shoot mid-range. Start from the bottom. All right? I mean, him taking 12 of his 15 shots from the three-point line isn't helping anyone. All right, I get the fact that threes are the cool shot now, but I mean, eventually you got to realize, this ain't working, so let me start with the basics and then work on the jump shot in the offseason from the three-point line. All right, but nonetheless, I mean, that's one of the biggest reasons why he hasn't been shooting the ball well as of late. It's because he's taking too many threes. He's like Andrew Wiggins when Andrew Wiggins was struggling to shoot the ball. Andrew Wiggins should know, I can't shoot threes. I'm only going to take a few a game. All right, and hope I hit 1 out of 4, 2 out of 4, and get the rest of my points driving in. That's what Lonzo should be doing. All right, but anyway, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope had 28 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, shot 9 of 15 from the field, 8 of 11 from the three-point line. And then off the bench, you had Isaiah Thomas with 15 points, 2 assists, shot 6 of 12, 1 of 4 from the three-point line. For the Pelicans, you had Anthony Davis with 33 points, 9 rebounds, shot 12 of 20 from the field. Etuan Moore had 13 points, 30 rebounds. Like I said, give him that 14 a game, you're solid. Again, I know it was only 13, but it's only a point less. All right, he shot 6 of 10, though. Emeka Okafor played 20 minutes in this one, 2 points, 6 rebounds, shot 1 of 3. Rajon Rondo, 24 points, 10 assists, 2 rebounds, shot 11 of 18, 1 of 3 from the three-point line. You know this guy got up real ready for this game since he's playing against Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas and Rajon Rondo have himself a little mini rivalry. I mean, kind of surprised none of them got ejected in this one, but yeah, Rondo and Thomas don't seem to like each other. Rondo doesn't like the fact that Thomas is regarded as Is Isaiah Thomas the top 10 Celtic all time? I think he's the top 3 point guard all time in Celtics history. I mean, Dennis Johnson was good, but was he better than Isaiah? I mean, it goes probably, I don't know. I guess I don't know. It's kind of tough because I guess you gotta throw. Kyrie Irving's not there yet as far as all time, but if Kyrie Irving were to spend the rest of his career with the Celtics, I think he'd end up being the best point guard of all time. And I guess you got to go Bob Cousy, and then you could go like Rondo was a better all-time Celtic than Isaiah Thomas. I don't know. Maybe we'll spend the 4th segment talking about that. It's kind of tough. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. Either way, Drew Holiday had 26 points, 6 assists, shot 12 of 16 from the field, 1 of 4 from the three-point line. Nikola Mirotic struggled in this one, 1 of 7 from the field, only 5 points. Did have 6 rebounds, though. Ian Clark played well, 13 points, 2 rebounds, shot 5 of 10 from the field, 1 of 3 from the three-point line. All right, once again, the Pelicans won this one, 128-125. The Pelicans should be right now, I think, in the 5th spot still. Depending on, I think they were a game back of the Thunder. So if anything, they're a half game back of the Thunder for that 4th spot. Let me see. Oh, they're actually in the 4th spot right now. Got the same record as the Thunder, but I'm sure the Pelicans got the tiebreaker over them, and that's why they're over there right now. All right, let's see what other game we had going on for yesterday. We had the Utah Jazz facing off with the Dallas Mavericks. Utah, of course, won this one 119-112. All right, for Utah, you had Derek Favors with 19 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, shot 8 of 14 from the field, 1 of 2 from the three-point line. Joe Ingles had 18 points, 10 assists, 6 rebounds, shot 7 of 10, 3 of 5 from the three-point line. Rudy Gobert had 11 points, 7 rebounds. Ricky Rubio, 25 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, shot 8 of 14 from the field, 4 of 8 from the three-point line. Donovan Mitchell shot the ball pretty well in this one, 50% from the field, 11 of 22. That's how we do math on this show. 1 of 6 from the three-point line, though, 26 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Off the bench, you had Jonas Jerebko with 5 points, 4 rebounds in 14 minutes. Jay Crowder had 11 points, 4 rebounds, and you had Royce O'Neal with 5 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist. Keeping it simple there. I like it. Harrison Barnes had 21 points, 4 rebounds, shot 8 of 18 from the field, 5 of 6 from the three-point line. All right, Dirk only played 25 minutes, shot 2 of 6, 0 of 2 from the three-point line, 4 points, 1 rebound. That's just sad to see from Dirk. I mean, he's got to be retiring after this year, I'm sure, right? I think this is his 20th year of that. There's no way he's coming back, but this year's been kind of brutal for Dirk. I'm kind of watching it, kind of shedding a tear every time you check the stat line. I mean, he has had some good games, but for the most part, it's like we miss the old Dirk. JJ Barea had 23 points, 8 assists, shot 9 of 15 from the field, 5 of 7 from the three-point line. Off the bench, you had Yogi Ferrell with 20 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, shot 8 of 16. Unless I am mistaken, what's the other? I think it's Aaron Harrison. Is that the other brother's name from Andrew Harrison? He plays for the Mavericks. I did not know that. All right, I've been pretty much giving the scores for this whole season all year long, and I did not know that Aaron Harrison. I thought it was just Andrew Harrison. All right, let's see. Am I right? Am I wrong? Yeah, Aaron Harrison on the Mavericks. Wow, signed a 10-day contract. Hopefully he ends up making it. I like the Harrison twins when they were playing for Kentucky. I'm rooting for them. Hopefully Aaron Harrison ends up playing well for the Mavericks and I guess gets signed for the rest of the season, which I'm not even sure about because, I mean, there's only about like 11 games left. Let's see. The Mavericks have played 72 games, so you got, 10 more games left? So, yeah, maybe they end up just giving him a 10-day contract or they just extend him for the rest of the season. But hopefully he ends up making it. But, yeah, he had 6 points, 2 rebounds, shot 2 of 5 in 20 minutes. So, pretty efficient there. But like I said, the Utah Jazz won this one 119-112. Then for the final game of the night, we had the Sacramento Kings facing off with the Atlanta Hawks. I mean, this game was pretty empty, but that was because of due to the protests going on in Sacramento right now. They had to close off they couldn't let anyone in. So yeah, there was only about a handful of people in that stadium, I guess. Either way, though, the Kings won this one 105-90. For the Hawks, you had Mike Muscala with 8 points, 4 rebounds, shot 3 of 9 from the field, 2 of 6 from the three-point line. Taurean Prince with 7 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, shot 3 of 10, 1 of 5 from the three-point line. Dwayne Dedmon had 13 points, 10 rebounds, shot 4 of 9 from the field, 1 of 3 from the three-point line. Let's see. For the Kings, you had Skal Labissiere with 9 points, 10 rebounds, shot 4 of 14. Not great there, but either way, almost a double-double, I guess, if you want to find the silver lining. Justin Jackson had 20 points, shot 7 of 8 from the field, 4 of 4 from the three-point line. Justin Jackson is going to be a nice little piece for the Kings going forward. I really like the way he's been playing this season. All right, De'Aaron Fox, poor shooting night from him, 1 of 11 from the field, 0 of 2 from the three-point line, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 points. Bogdan Bogdanovic, 11 points, 3 assists, 2 rebounds, shot 4 of 6. And then off the bench, you had Buddy Hield with 16 points, shot 7 of 15, 2 of 4 from the three-point line. And then you had Frank Mason, who had 16 points, 8 assists, 7 rebounds, shot 7 of 13. And Kosta Koufis, 14 points, 11 rebounds, shot 7 of 11 from the field in that one. All right, like I said, the Kings won this one 105-90. All right, so that was most of the games from last night. We still got to talk about the Sixers game, which we're going to be talking about in the next segment. So we're going to pretty much spend the next segment talking about Philly. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Check out the show that's built on the MMA. From the UFC to extreme cage fighting, they got the fights covered. Check out the GSMC MMA podcast. Get the latest news on past or upcoming fights. Join us as we talk to and about some of the biggest names in the MMA, past, present, and future. When it's the fight game, there's just one show to check out. GSMCpodcast.com/MMA-podcast. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
right, and welcome back to the GSMC Sports Podcast. So far today, we've been spending it on a lot of basketball. And basketball has been taken over this week. We had March Madness tournament. We got the NBA getting ready for the playoffs. So, the NFL's kind of hibernating right now. For a week after that crazy free agency period started. After that, it's gone kind of slow. So there's that. Baseball just hasn't given me any storylines to talk about. I'm waiting for the season to start just so I can start getting into it. But there's nothing really going on in baseball right now. As for soccer, we got Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who signed with LA Galaxy. We're going to talk more about that in the next segment, all right? But either way, for this one, let's talk about the Philadelphia 76ers, okay? Yesterday, they played the Orlando Magic and pretty much played extremely well. I think they won this one by 20, out by 20, 118-98. For Philly, you had Dario Saric with 10 points, 10 rebounds, shot 3-7 from the field, 1-2 from the three-point line. Robert Covington had 15 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, shot 5-12, 3-7 from the three-point line. Joel Embiid had 17 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, shot 6-11, 1-4 from the three-point line. Ben Simmons had 6 points, 10 assists, 11 rebounds, shot 3-4 from the field in this one. JJ Redick, 12 points, only played 17 minutes in this one, shot 3-8, 1-5 from the three-point line. Off the bench, you had Aaron Ilyasova with 18 points, 3 rebounds, shot 7-11, 3-4 from the three-point line. And then you had Marco Bellinelli with 15 points, shot 5-10, 2-5 from the three-point line. For the Orlando Magic, you had Aaron Gordon with 10 points, 11 rebounds, shot 4-15 from the field. Gordon started off that season really hot, was playing extremely well, was playing well for most, up until the middle part of the season, he got hurt and just hasn't been the same since. All right, let's see. Nikolai Vucevic had 7 points, 4 rebounds, shot 3-11 from the field, 1-2 from the three-point line. DJ Augustine had 6 points, 4 assists, shot 2-9, 1-4 from the three-point line. Bismack Biyombo, 13 points, 6 rebounds, 5-7 shooting from the field. That's a real fun name to say. Aaron Aflalo, 7 points, 2 assists, shot 2-5 from the field. Let's see, anyone else do anything notable on the bench? Mo Spates played 7 minutes in this one, 10 points, no rebounds, 3-6 shooting, 2-5 from the three-point line. So I guess that's all that needed to be said about this game, all right? So like I said, the Philadelphia 76ers won this one, 118-98. Philly is catching my attention, all right? If you remember, at one point, it was the last week, the week before, not sure, but I have said, it might have just been on the GSMC basketball podcast. Go ahead and check that one out. But either way, I said I would not be surprised if Philly knocked off Cleveland in the first round. We're probably not going to get that first round opportunity to watch because of the fact that Philly's the 4 seed right now. They're a half game up on Indiana for that 4 seed. Indiana's currently 5th, and then Washington is 6th is currently a game back of Philly. All right, I would really like to see Philly end up playing the Cavs in the first round. Would kind of be like LeBron's current team playing LeBron's future team. All right, because the guy is going to go to Philly. That's not a lockdown either. I'm not making that a lock. I'm not sure where LeBron is going. I'm kind of on the Portland Trailblazers bandwagon. Maybe LeBron could end up there, but either way, with Philly right now, 41-30. All right, they're 7 games back of the 2 seed, 11.5 games back of the 1 seed. So if you're thinking about that, it's not going to happen. But either way, Philly's been kind of surprising this year. Haven't they? They're 23-11 at home. Let's see, they're 18-19 on the road. Kind of want that road record to be a little bit better. 26-18 in the conference, scoring 108 points per game, giving up 105. 7-3 in their last 10, 1-5 in a row. Pretty good there, wouldn't you say? All right. I really like Philly. I like them a lot. And I really hope Markelle Fultz ends up figuring out what's going on with his jump shot and all that because of the fact that, imagine, you got Ben Simmons, you got Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid's already a top 5 center, no doubt. He already is. Joel Embiid is a superstar in this league, all right, is a monster. Ben Simmons, all he's got to do is develop. That's it. All right, he's got to pretty much figure his jump shot. There's no such thing as a jump shot with Ben Simmons. I have a better jump shot than Ben Simmons, okay? And I feel confident saying that. Now, my jump shot is pretty bad. But either way, Ben Simmons, he's eventually going to figure out a way to where he can get consistent points, so he could be averaging about 15 to 18 points a game. He's going to get to that point. It's just a matter of development and being in the league long enough to know what works, what doesn't, when to drive in, when not to drive in, and pretty much how to get fouled, all right? So, Ben Simmons, he's got to figure it out there. That's one thing that's different between him and Lonzo. Him and Lonzo are very similar players, but Ben Simmons pretty much knows not to shoot from the three-point line because he can't. Lonzo Ball, again, Lonzo Ball's a bad shooter, actually. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. Lonzo Ball's a pretty bad shooter, but either way, Ben Simmons, but I don't think Lonzo Ball knows his limits. All right, Ben Simmons knows his limits. He knows that he's a facilitator. He knows get the assists, get the boards, and when the opportunity presents itself, attack the rim and get to the and get some points up. All right, that's what separates Ben Simmons from Lonzo Ball. That's why Ben Simmons is better than Lonzo Ball. Ben Simmons knows what works and knows what doesn't work, and he sticks to what works. All right, so that's why he's always successful. All right, but either way, Philly, it's not just Simmons and Embiid. You got pieces like Saric, Covington, and then off the bench you got guys like JJ Redick. If I'm JJ Redick, I know he only signed a 1-year deal with the Sixers this year, but if I'm him, I'm trying to come back to Philly. All right, JJ Redick could be a starting 2-guard for this team, or he could just come off the bench. All right, and I'm sure if they were to somehow get LeBron next year, I mean, that team with LeBron, that kind of confuses me. Let's try and go what the lineup would be. I mean, it'd be, I guess you'd technically want Fultz on the floor, right? I guess you go Fultz, Redick. I mean, it's kind of tough with LeBron. I mean, you could go Simmons, I guess. If you want to keep Covington and Saric on the floor, you go Simmons, LeBron, Covington, Saric, and Embiid, but that doesn't work. So one of them's going to have to move to the bench. But my ideal lineup for the Sixers would be Fultz if he's got his jump shot right and he's just mentally ready. Then Redick. You got LeBron playing the 3, Simmons playing the 4, Embiid playing the 5. That would be my ideal starting 5. But that starting 5, the problem with that is the styles of play. LeBron, Ben Simmons, I'm sure Fultz. I mean, Fultz I think could be a guy who plays off the ball. But LeBron and Simmons specifically, I mean, those guys are better when they have the ball in their hands. Simmons specifically because of the fact that Simmons without the ball in his hands, I don't want to say useless, but not as effective. All right, we'll go that route. So yeah, Simmons without LeBron, or Simmons like with LeBron on this team is pretty much just kind of kicked to the side. But either way, it's kind of like with the Lakers. I don't want to see the Lakers sign LeBron or Paul George because of the fact that I like the core they got right now. I like Randall. I like Ingram. I like Lonzo. All right. I even like Isaiah Thomas if you wanted to come back to the Lakers and be a 6-man for that team, which I'm not even sure about. Anyway, you got them. You got Kuzma, who I really like on that team. The best rookie on that team. That's not up for discussion right now. All right. Like I said, I mean, you got that core right there. I don't want LeBron to go over there because it's kind of going to ruin it there, and I'm sure Lonzo's going to end up leaving that team. But as far as LeBron going to the Sixers, I mean, the Sixers already have a good team. All right. They're already the 4 seed without LeBron. Okay, let's say that Fultz comes back and he's like, I'm ready to go and all that next season, and he's playing well. The Sixers could have a top 3 team in the East next year. Okay? They very well could. I mean, right now I think it's a matter of letting the guys develop. All right, keep developing Embiid, keep developing Simmons, because Simmons and Embiid, they're going to be all-star, like future superstars. Embiid very well might already be. He's kind of on the cusp of that. And if Ben Simmons pretty much learns how to average around 15 to 20 a game, like I said, he's going to be a superstar too. So I say you develop those guys. You see what's going on with Fultz. If he's ready to go, then that's going to be a plus right there. You got JJ Redick, that veteran presence. Covington and Saric, your role player guys in the starting 5, and then you just keep building up the bench, and you're going to be a good team. But as of right now, I mean, the Sixers could make some noise in the playoffs. All right, they'd be if the season ended today, they'd be playing the Pacers in the first round. That series could go either way, honestly. I mean, the 76ers have been playing good basketball, but so have the Pacers, so I think it could go either way. I think I'd pick the Sixers in that one. Then the Sixers would be playing the Toronto Raptors. I mean, with Toronto, you never know what's going on with that team in the playoffs. I mean, is Kyle Lowry going to show up and play well, or is he going to head over to the locker room and take a little breather in order to get his head on straight? You never know. But either way, I mean, the 76ers, they have a bright future ahead going forward. And, I mean, remember there was one point where they're the AC kind of like, oh, maybe they should not make the playoffs, get another lottery pick. But either way, I mean, they're playing really well. And, I mean, I just really want to see Philly versus Cleveland in the just in the playoffs at least once, whether that be in the Eastern Conference Finals or maybe Philly lose a game, Washington and Indiana win a game, so that moves Philly to 6th. Maybe we could see it that way, but it's going to be interesting to see how Philly does in the playoffs, mainly because of the fact that they're a young team right now. They haven't been to the playoffs since, I think, Derrick Rose blew out his knee that one time. All right. But, yeah, I haven't been to the playoffs since then, I believe, so it's going to be a nice little new experience for this team. Are they going to be able to handle it? Who knows? But either way, we'll wait and see. But that's going to wrap it up for this segment. Next up, we're going to be talking about Allen Hurns going to the Cowboys. I'm going to mention that. All right, going to talk about anything else going on in the world of sports and making my picks for – I already made my picks for the NCAA games going on tonight. So making my picks for the NBA games going on tonight. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Are you looking for help for your fantasy football team? Check out the GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast. Get today's best advice on who to start, who to sit, even who you should draft. From sleeper picks to red-hot lineups, they got it all covered for you. That's gsmcpodcast.com/fantasy-football-podcast. We'll cover traditional leagues, dynasty, PPR, even IDP leagues. When you need fantasy help, there's just one show to hit up. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit gsmcpodcast.com for more info.
right, and welcome back to the GSMC Sports Podcast. So far today, it's been very basketball heavy, but like I said, both college and professional have been dominating the news this week. All right, so that's just how it is. But either way, all right, we talked about the Sixers today in the third segment. We talked about the other NBA games going on in the second segment. Kemba Walker basically destroyed the Memphis Grizzlies. I mean, they won that game by 61 points, which is just ridiculous. I mean, how do the Bulls get a warning for tanking, but the Memphis Grizzlies are getting off scot-free? I have no clue. First segment, we talked about the March Madness games from Thursday. Had a bunch of good ones. Florida State knocked off Gonzaga. Michigan just beat the brakes off of Texas A&M. All right, let's see what else we got going on from yesterday. I think Kansas State beat Kentucky. And then, what was the other game? Oh, yeah, Loyola-Chicago. My lock pick of the week. Beat Nevada. All right. I'm 2 for 2 on the locks. Okay. I think Atlanta Falcons over the Rams was my lock at that time too. So I'm 3 for 3. We're doing pretty well with the locks. All right. It doesn't come often, but nonetheless, it happens. You know, I'm gonna lock Clemson tonight. I'm that confident about it. I really think they're gonna beat Kansas. All right, but I like Kansas too because Paul Pierce, one of my favorite players. So I always root for Kansas. But either way, I think Clemson's gonna end up winning this one. All right, so for this segment, as you know, we pretty much talk about anything going on in the world of sports. It's always a fun segment to do. So let's talk about whatever else is going on in sports. All right, let's see. We got anything going on in golf right now? No tournament data available. So nothing right now going on in golf. All right, let's see. What do we got going on in the NBA? We got Kyrie Irving. Going to get a procedure on his knee done. All right, not ideal for the Celtics. No timeable for his return right now. So, I mean, with the Celtics, it's just a matter of, I say you, and he set for a minimally invasive procedure on the injured left knee that has kept him out. All right, what is a minimally invasive procedure? Is that like just minor? Is that code for minor procedure? Is that code for he should be back by playoffs? I don't know. But either way, if I'm the Celtics, Kyrie can't come back till he's feeling 100%. And if that means that Kyrie doesn't get to play in the playoffs, then throw Terry Rozier out to the Wolves and see how he does. All right, because Terry Rozier has been quite the revelation for the Celtics this season. All right, remember, people used to make fun of Danny Ainge for not giving up Terry Rozier for Jimmy Butler. Obviously, I mean, Jimmy Butler is a better player than Terry Rozier right now, but you kind of see what Danny Ainge was getting at, not trading Terry Rozier. The dude has played extremely well, played well when he's needed to start, played well to come off the bench, plays well with Kyrie. All right. Just played well all season long. In the running for Sixth Man of the Year. Probably not going to win it. I'm sure it's going to end up going to Eric Gordon or Lou Williams. But either way, he's been playing really well. All right? But let's see. Yeah, with Kyrie Irving, like I said, I mean, there's no point bringing him back unless he's like fully ready to go. And I mean, I think Boston without Kyrie can get past whatever team they play in the first round because I doubt it's going to be Philly. Like, it won't be Philly, Indiana, or Washington. I think it's going to be more so Milwaukee or Miami. And I think even with those two teams who have been playing really well this season, that the Celtics can knock them off. But I'd be more so worried if Kyrie's not ready for the second round of the playoffs, and that's where I worry. Because then you're playing teams like the Cavs, possibly. You could be playing the Wizards, the Pacers, or the Sixers. All right, take your pick. Those are all good teams who are pretty much. I wouldn't be shocked if they upset any team in these playoffs going forward in the East. All right, so with the Celtics, yeah, you got to be kind of worried. But I mean, you got to think long term too. I mean, I guess long-term, this isn't really a big injury. It's just more so relieving the stress, the soreness that's going on in his knee. So, I mean, if you're Boston and everything's good long-term, then you got to be pretty happy about it. But, yeah, I get, like, even with Kyrie coming back and stuff like that, they're not going to win the title. That belongs to Houston or Golden State, and that remains to be seen. But we got that going on. Let's see what else we got going on. Allen Hurns signing with the Cowboys. Allen Hurns, remember he had that big year with the Jaguars, over 1,000 yards, I think. Didn't he have like 15 touchdowns that year or something like that? Both him and Allen Robinson went off that year. Ever since, Allen Hurns has always been that guy. You kind of keep your eye on in fantasy football. Is this year he's going to come back? Like, when is Allen Hurns coming back? When is he going to pretty much play like he did? And it just never happened. I think I had Allen Hurns on my team for a couple of weeks this season, and then just pretty much it wasn't working. But either way, I mean, he signs with the Cowboys. I think this is a good move, all right? And I'm kind of curious to see, Terrence Williams can be playing for the Cowboys, or he's got to be getting cut. You can't keep Terrence Williams, Allen Hurns, Cole Beasley, and Des Bryant. Don't they have another receiver on that team? Switzer. Oh, yeah, Ryan Switzer or something like that. But, yeah, I'd see Terrence Williams, if he's not cut already, because, again, I haven't paid attention to the Cowboys roster for a while, honestly, so I'm not even sure if Terrence Williams is there. But either way, I mean, Allen Hurns has to be the number 2 receiver on that team. He's already better than he's already better than Terrence Williams. But I like to move for Allen Hurns because it's a change of scenery. With Jacksonville, it really wasn't working out. He was pretty much being pushed out of the picture anyways with the younger receivers coming in. I mean, they got rid of Allen Robinson, too. They didn't even bring him back. So you got Marquise Lee, D.D. Westbrook, Keenan Cole, and all the other guys you got out there. So they're ready to go young, and I like it. Those receivers are very explosive, and I think those receivers are going to be very good going forward. All right, D.D. Westbrook especially. Keenan Cole's a guy who I think can play well too, but remains to be seen how well they develop in this offseason going forward. But with Allen Hurns, I mean, Dak Prescott, Allen Hurns is a guy where he doesn't have to run deep routes. He can run the short routes, pretty much the guy that could benefit a guy like Dak Prescott. So I think Allen Hurns playing for the Cowboys this season, he's going to see his stats are going to go up. All right, that's what I'm saying. His stats are going to go up. He's going to play well this season. All right, is he a guy you draft in your fantasy football league? I don't think so. I mean, I don't even think you do draft Dez Bryant, but you draft Dez Bryant like in the 5th, 6th round, maybe even a little bit after that. But yeah, with the Cowboys right now, I mean, Allen Hurns, like I said, that's a good move you bring it in there. You lost Bryce Butler, so you bring in Allen Hurns, so I like it. But either way, let's see what else we got going on in the world of sports right now. Johnny Manziel, 13 scouts watched him at his pro day. I think we mentioned that yesterday. I mean, the Patriots were there, Denver Broncos were there, so he's got some interest. And I guess the consensus was that he played pretty well. So you got that going on. Again, it's just a guy throwing it shorts, but it's just maybe Johnny Manziel make it. Like I said, probably one of the most exciting players I've ever watched play college football. And I think that's pretty much it going on in the NFL right now. So let's make my picks going on for tonight's NBA games. What do we got going on? I think we got a bunch of games going on tonight, too. I think we got at least 7 games going on. Let's see. We got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games going on tonight. We got a whole bunch going on tonight. So let's get into it. We got the Clippers facing off with the Indiana Pacers. I'm going to go with the Pacers in this one, all right? Got to pretty much keep up with the Sixers if they want to make that 4 seed. So I got the Pacers beating the Clippers. Pacers are favored by 3.5 in this one, plus they're at home. Then we got the Nuggets facing off with the Wizards. Nuggets are a pretty bad road team, 12 and 23 on the road. Washington's a pretty decent home team, 20 and 15 at home. So I'm going to go with the Wizards in this one. I think they're going to be able to pull it out. Plus, they had a bad game the other day. I think it was against the Spurs. Tomas Satoransky scored 0 points in that one, so I think they're going to pick it up in this one. Then we get the Suns facing off with the Cavaliers. Cavs, no reason to explain why. You already know, so I got the Cavs winning that one. We got the Timberwolves facing off with the Knicks. Knicks, 18 and 17 at home. Wolves, 14 and 22 on the road. Minnesota's favored by 7.5 in this one. I'm going to go with them. All right, kind of want to go with the Knicks just because Michael Beasley's been playing well, but I got to go with the Timberwolves in this one. Then we got the Nets facing off with the Toronto Raptors. I mean, do I need to even explain myself? I got the Toronto Raptors winning this one pretty easily. We got the Bucks facing off with the Bulls. All right, Bucks 15 and 19 on the road. Bulls 15 and 21 at home. Bulls tanking, Bucks not. So I got the Bucks winning this one. Should be a pretty easy game from them. Then we got the Miami Heat facing off with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Thunder, I think, is this the first game since that little debacle they had against the Celtics where they pretty much gave up the 6-point lead with 20 seconds left? I think this is. I'm going to go with the Heat in this one. I really like the Heat this season. I like the way they've been playing. They're always going to be competitive against the good teams. I think they're going to be able to pull this one out. So I got the Heat winning this one. Then we got the Jazz facing off with the San Antonio Spurs. Spurs supposedly held a players-only meeting trying to get Kawhi to come back. I mean, that doesn't look good there. So yeah, Spurs are favored by 3.5 in this one. 28 and 8 at home. Been a very good home team, as you could see. Jazz 17 and 19 on the road. Haven't been that great of a road team, but that doesn't matter to me. I'm going with the Jazz in this one. I think they're going to be able to pull it out. It is on a back-to-back, though, so maybe I should go with the Spurs. I'm going to go with the Jazz. I'm going to go against the grain here. Then we got the Celtics facing off with the Trailblazers. No Kyrie Irving. It's tough to go against no Jaylen Brown still, so I can't go against the Trailblazers in this one. They're going to be winning this one, I believe. They're playing at home, 25 and 12 at home. Celtics are 24 and 10 on the road. Celtics are going to keep it close, but I just think that the Trailblazers are going to be able to pull it out, so I got them winning this one. Then we got the Warriors facing off with the Atlanta Hawks. I got to go with the Dubs in this one. No Steph, no Clay, no KD. I think they're going to be able to pull it out still. So I got the Warriors winning this one, beating the Hawks. Let's see. Recap my picks. I got the Pacers beating the Clippers, Wizards beating the Nuggets, Cavs beating the Suns, Timberwolves beating the Knicks, the Raptors beating the Nets, Bucks beating the Bulls, Heat beating the Thunder, Jazz beating the Spurs, Celtics beating the Trailblazers, Warriors beating the Hawks. Only 3 upset picks tonight. I got the Heat over the Thunder, the Jazz over the Spurs, and the Celtics over the Trailblazers. So that's going to wrap it up for today's show. Today we talked about yesterday's March Madness games, which was Thursdays. We talked about yesterday's NBA games. We also talked about the Sixers in the third segment, and then for this fourth segment, we talked about anything else going on in the world of sports. Allen Hurns going to be signing with the Cowboys. Like that move there. And Kyrie Irving going to be getting a procedure done on his knee, so no time for his return. So like I said, thanks for listening to today's GSMC Sports Podcast. As always, I am your host, Jesse Tapia. We'll be back on Tuesday, so stay tuned, and we'll talk to you later.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.